Hello, growers. Looking to turn your homestead into a profitable business? Or are you a farmer looking to boost your sales? Check out my book, Sell Everything You Grow. This book is the ultimate guide to choosing the right farm business model that fits your farm, time, and location. Discover which model has the highest profit margins and why diversification is so important. Whether you're selling apples, vegetables, or microgreens, Sell Everything You Grow will help you find your first market or expand into new ones. Get Sell Everything You Grow on Amazon and start selling more today.
So that first year, was it you had income outside of independent of the vegetable farm, so you didn't have to rely on that, so you could do this on the side, essentially get used to the tools, get used to growing in your context in a market garden style of production. And when did you think that first year? Was it, is this all for home use? Like, I'm going to eat everything I grow, or I'm going to try and sell some of it. And if I can, that's a bonus since it's our trial year.
We weren't registered with the Food Act at this point, and we didn't have to be at farmers markets. So we started really small with a buyers club, just like 7 families, and they were buying salad and root veg. We also had coriander in, and the income was insignificant. Then we started at then we started at our first farmers market, and this is spring going into, by the time our harvests were ready, we set up in spring. It was late summer by the time production was happening, small scale, and that's when we started selling to the buyers club, and we were able to move, especially the storage crops. We had wash and pack operational, and it was late that season that we picked up our first restaurant and our first retail store, and that was the beginning of the big change for us. And as a newcomer to selling generally fast-growing veg, I was pretty fearful of going into the retail space. And I know we've done a whole podcast on this, but
what was the biggest fear there? Just you couldn't be consistent enough to supply them?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. The getting to know your production and knowing you can go to sleep at night knowing you've got it, you've got successions ahead, and you know how to do it. And the other one, I think this might sound a bit random, but I was fearful of the big certified, it's called National Program 1. I was fearful of the certification process, and there's no need to be fearful of that. We just smashed it when we did go through the audit. So getting to a point where you're registered with the Food Act to be able to sell to restaurants and retail stores as well. And we should have done that earlier. Our wash and pack we were producing safe food. We're growing good quality stuff in the field. I was just fearful of the unknown. And moving forward too, going into COVID, when we started at the supermarket, I was fearful of that too. It's the real deal, and there's no need to be. And if others hadn't have done it before us, I would have been even more fearful. Even Curtis had, in his later days of farming, had finished at the farmers market and was supplying supermarkets. And just because he'd been a mentor and had already done that, it made it a whole lot easier for us.
I think that's a big fear for every business owner, and not the Food Act specifically, but doing something that seems daunting, that seems unknown, that seems like a lot of work. And I almost feel like I have those daily. And it's always, and I mean this, always the case when you dig into it, it's never as bad as you make it out to be. Because usually you can break it apart into pieces. There's some sort of resource to help. And it's just getting past that mental block or hurdle of, I got to sit down and just start this and get going. And then you sit down and you're like, that was it? What the hell was I scared of all this time?
Joel Salatin talks about you've got to take the first step before you can take the second and third. And moving forward with this theme, after our first season at the supermarket, we doubled our production. And we started going into winter. We're going to come back to this. And then after winter, all our other stores reopened, or late winter. But we've doubled our production on the same land area since the start of COVID. Our fridges have never been empty. And that's built an assurance, well, you could say confidence, but we know we can produce the production needed consistently. And I think there's always future growth in the farm. It comes with challenges at different points, whether it's labor, money, investments, tools, weather. But yeah, we feel that we've got this. And coming with COVID as well, we've had some of the worst weather we've seen in the last 2-3 years as well. That's normal for everyone. But yeah, just putting systems in place. I think sounds cheesy, but some of the best learning spells or periods of time are the hardest ones, not the best ones, not when everything's epic and full on. It's when things are not easy that you make the shifts and adapt. So you don't have to go through that so hard again.
Yeah, I think one of those hard periods that farmers struggle is the pre-sales. All right, I'm doing this. I'm growing. I got to get customers. You started on 7 customers in a small buyers club, financially insignificant, but business-wise, I think maybe more significant than the money, because you get, hey, confidence, I can sell, you can get feedback, you can get reviews from it, you can get used to actually delivering a product to somebody who's paying for it. It makes you legit. And if you just fixate on the money of, I don't know, how much is that going to bring in, $3,000 a year or whatever, why even waste my time? There's a lot of reasons to waste your time on small things in the beginning, and that's so you can do bigger things.
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower. Let's face it, seeding in the nursery is tedious and time-consuming. Turn the drudgery into efficiency with the time and labor-saving Quick Click Seeder by Modern Grower. The Quick Click can seed a full nursery tray in seconds. It's fully compatible with all trays on the market, such as paper pot, airstrip, cell trays, prop tech, and more. The Quick Click can also be used for microgreens. Cut your time spent seeding by 75% with a Quick Click Seeder available at shop.moderngrower.co.